in a masjid, so you should go to a masjid. Now, in regards to people getting mad about praying in a park, I'm not speaking to those retards. Those guys are idiots. And my argument simply comes from, I think this is more beneficial for Muslims because of not only the reward aspect, but as well as the fact that it can create obstacles later where people will say, well, why do you have to impose your religion on us? Why do you have to publicly pray? And I don't think that that's a sound argument to try and defend all the time when from your religion, you're told to pray in a masjid, as well as the fact that I said this in the stream. I'm not saying anybody was showing off. I gave you guys kudos, actually. I said that Warno and Sneeko, I think their intentions are pure, and I don't think anything they're doing is vehemently wrong or anything like that, but it can open the door to wanting your prayer to be seen. This is an aspect called riyah, which is a pillar of prayer where if you don't have, or sorry, this is not a pillar of prayer. A pillar of prayer is khushu', where you focus. That can mess it up too. People banging pots and pans, they throw something at you, that hurts your salah, as well as the fact that you never know if somebody's heart is intercepted and maybe they feel like they're showing off and they want people to see them praying. This can also nullify the salah. So it opens up the door for other evils as well. I'm not saying those will manifest, and I'm not saying those manifested in you. I don't think so. I think you're genuine in your actions, but I think there's that potentiality which further concludes or further perpetuates my point. Yeah. Hey, maybe we should just go to a masjid instead. And I get it. Listen, it was one night. Dude, I'm not the one going, what the fuck? But when I see people outraged, I'm going, well, I don't think the Muslims should have prayed there. But don't misconstrued what I'm saying or like convolute my position to be
you're in Myron's position. You guys have a different.
Me and Myron agree. Myron has a little bit more of a nationalistic perspective where it's like, hey, we're guests here, and there's an argument to be made for that as well.
Here.
We make up a very large.
I'm born here. I'm not a guest.
We make up the premise, not really the saying, because I guess it's abrasive in the way you take it when he says it that way. But we're a minority here. You can say that. And so Muslims only make up 1.1, 1.3, I think, percent of the United States. We're a minority, which is why anybody who's complaining is a retard. But simultaneously, you also have the fact that since we're a minority, we have to practice a little bit of proactivity in making sure that we're praying inside of our mosques and not praying in the street. That can cause tension or backlash from it.
Right.
But
I'll give you my response.
We agree to disagree. I understand what you're saying. Go ahead.
I want to respond. You said that it might interrupt your salah and everything. Of course, it's more peaceful in a masjid. Like last night, somebody's ringer was going off, and that was the most distracted and infuriating thing. Anybody can relate. When someone's phone's going off and you really want to lock in for Qiyam or Tarawih, and then I turn off the phone and it's distracting. But there was an instance where you have the enemies of Islam, and you can even see that they start ramping up at specific types of recitation. And when I was praying there, it actually strengthened my deen because it would make me more aware of the enemies and where we are. And if you're talking about reward specifically, I think that there is a reward in dawah. And I'm not a scholar. I don't know how to relate it specifically, but there is value in the land of Epstein regime with so much propaganda, showing unity and fighting back against that propaganda and showing Muslims all over the country that we don't need to be afraid, that we don't need to submit to all the propaganda calling us terrorists and evil people, showing what we're about, which is